Jalen, the last couple nights, Mark has talked about the group's intentionality. What do you think of when you hear that word in terms of the way that you all played during some critical stretches to get the wins the last two nights?
I think the biggest thing is when you're having like ugly games and not getting it offensively, it's easy to drift. And, everybody tries to play one-on-one. I think we do a good job of holding each other accountable and still trying to play the right way and get the best available look and just stick with it. And the one thing that we can control every game is defense, and we kind of buckled down, got some stops, and, it jump-started our offense.
Yeah, and then I wanted to ask you about Isaiah Joe. I mean, it just seems like in addition to the threes, there are more and more ways in which he's a threat on both ends of the floor. How have you seen him grow in the last few years?
I think defensively, he kind of flies under the radar. He's always in the right spot. He's always competing. There's never a night he doesn't compete defensively. And even if the shots aren't going in, it doesn't stop how hard he plays. And I think that's one of the reasons he's here. And he adds so much to our game defensively when you know somebody's going to be in the right spot every time. Rarely makes mistakes. So it's just good to have somebody solid on the team that shoots the way he does and doesn't let that affect the rest of his game.
Dub tonight makes 6-0, which is the best start in franchise history. When you hear that, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's cool for sure. I don't think we're gonna get too ahead of ourselves. I think we got to play. Who we play next? Orlando. We got to play another good team. Yeah. We'll have fun on this 3-hour flight back, and then it's kind of right back to it. But it's definitely a cool thing to kind of write your name in history and have this be our start. But obviously, we know what we want to do down the line.
Yeah, and I wonder what you saw in terms of the way you guys defended Zubac. I think he had maybe like 10 or 12 on more than 10 shots. How you defended Zubac, and then generally how you think these smaller lineups with maybe you at the 5 or whatever guard at the 5 have played out throughout this year.
A lot of it's just trying to help Chet, so you got to give him a lot of credit there. Defensively, it just brings so much versatility, and that was mainly his matchup. So a lot of credit goes there, and then a lot of it's just being ready to help each other, and some you got to give a hard foul or just kind of be scrappy, and we do a good job of that. Playing small is something that I've been doing for 3 years now, and something I'm comfortable doing. And just kind of from there, just being ready to kind of help Chet out, and obviously until some of our other bigs get back, and we just kind of find ways to win and defend, and so really credit to Chet, and then everybody else kind of ready to help.
I asked Coach about AJ, and that was a small sample size, but what have you seen from him as far as transitioning into this pro league? And then what was the hardest adjustment for you, if you can remember?
He's been great. I think he does a good job not letting the minutes affect how he plays. I think that's something that's contagious about the organization is how hard people play when they do get the opportunity to come in. He's handled it really well, even before training camp when we were playing 5s. I think just having the college experience he has helped him, and that's something that I take with me, obviously, doing the same amount of years. Dylan's another one. When you do that many years of college, I think you just get to learn how to play basketball, and that's helped him and Dylan in the same regard. And then I think just the hardest transition for me was it didn't have anything to do with basketball. It was more like the flights and just trying to figure out a schedule and a routine and kind of all the stuff outside of basketball and how to be a professional. And it's good now that we have that, and we kind of have some veteran guys that help them through that, and they do a good job at asking questions. And I think that was probably the hardest adjustment, was just like right now, I'm probably going to get back to OKC at 4 a.m. So just trying to navigate that and how to get sleep, how to eat, and do that whole thing.
Anybody else? We'll go to Joel. This can be the last one.
Dub, obviously you and Shai have worked toward raising the volume on threes, especially Shai. I mean, he had 10 attempts, I think, a few nights ago. Mark was just in here noting that, it felt like tonight he was getting picked up higher, you were getting picked up higher. Just what is that like to see kind of the work manifest into, the coverage tonight?
It's good. It means that, obviously, you can't be afraid to shoot the shots you work on. And I think just for me, not even shooting it well tonight or, a couple games ago too, it's just kind of one of those things that you stick with. And it's a process of getting better. So especially early in the year, you want to make shots and you want to, be as efficient as possible. And there's also kind of a gray area where, you're trying to work on your game as well. And so I think the more we shoot them, the higher people have to respect it. And that's one of those things we just can't be afraid to shoot what you work on. So I give him a lot of credit for that because it makes me shoot shots that I don't normally shoot to try and work on later down the stretch. And so it's good when people obviously pick us up higher. It means we're doing something right.
Yeah, goodbye.
The will that you saw from this team, particularly in the first half, to keep some grip on the game and make sure that you gave yourselves a chance down the stretch.
Yeah, there's always, especially in the first half, first quarter of the game, there's so much basketball left. We don't ever really get fazed by a slow start, a big lead, a big deficit. There's so much basketball left to be played. And that's just our mentality. Coach always says it's like a 48-minute game, so we try to play and kind of stay in the moment, possession by possession, and not worry about how big the lead or deficit is. Just play through it and chip away at it. And it's the reason why we were able to turn it around to them.
And Chet, you were instrumental in some of the big stretches in that second half. Tell me about maybe the way that you guys played with intentionality and force in those moments to really take control of things.
Yeah, obviously just doing whatever it takes to win. Not every game's going to be pretty. Not every game's going to feel great. I definitely feel like personally I have a lot to come away from this game to, continue to get better at and improve. But, you never take a win for granted in this league. They're not easy to come by. And credit to everybody who stepped on the floor tonight to make that happen.
Chet, how were you guys able to take Zubats kind of out of that game? He had some good games to start this year. How were you guys able to make it tough on him today?
Just respecting him as a good player and, keying into what he does well out there and, trying to counter that on both ends of the floor.
Chet, Mark said pregame that as Shai's superstar has grown, that if anything, he's become more approachable and that he hasn't changed at all. What have you seen in that sense, just in terms of his humility?
I think it speaks volumes to the type of organization that we have from the top down. If you're not a good person, you don't end up, playing for the Thunder. And he's a testament to that because, he has every opportunity to act however he wants and do whatever he wants because you can't really say much, because you need him to go out there and, put up a lot of buckets the next night. But he doesn't do that. He's, extremely humble guy and, he's all about basketball. He's all about winning, all about family. He handles his business, shows up, and then, just he's himself after that. So credit to him for that.
Shai, you obviously played a lot of games at Staples, both as a Clipper and as an opponent. This was your first time here at Intuit Dome. Just what was your first impressions of playing in this building?
It was cool. Obviously a different feel. The stands feels a little bit more like on top of the court, kind of like college. Yeah, it was cool.
You think Arlington is going to be cooler?
Sure. Yeah, it was cool though.
And then I know we've asked you about the trade a lot every time you come back, but with the benefit of now 5 years of hindsight and everything that you've accomplished in the last 5 years and just how things have played out for the Clippers so far, what comes to mind when you look back on it?
Good question. I had a great year here when I was here. Their front office made a trade that they thought was better for their team. So did the Thunder. And then the last 5 years, I've tried to focus on my development and the team's development and try to be the best basketball player I could be for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I say it worked out in my favor.
For either of you guys, obviously 6-0 is the best start in franchise history. I just wonder what that means to either of you.
It's cool, but it doesn't mean much. There's still 76 games left. We're not even close to what we need to be to accomplish what we want to accomplish, which is obviously winning big. So, yeah, it's cool. Not satisfied at all.
Yeah, I don't think any team's ever
hung a banner for a 6-game win streak. So, it wasn't our end goal in the beginning, but like I said before, you don't take wins for granted in this league. And, we know how much hard work it takes to do something like that, but, we have bigger goals that we're working towards.
And Shai, for you, obviously you go 2 for 4 from 3 tonight. The other night, you took 10 threes. Mark was just in here saying that he felt that the Clippers were picking you up higher tonight, maybe as a product of all the threes you've taken so far. I just wonder what that's like to see the work kind of manifest into the coverage tonight, and how you've maybe decided to pick your spots when you should shoot more threes and when not to.
Yeah, it's not where I want it to be, and I'm gonna continue to shoot more. I feel like I could have shot more tonight. But yeah, we won, so all that is minuscule. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, I'm gonna continue to shoot them and try to shoot more. Try to keep the defense honest.
Last week, follow-up, if I can.
Sure.
For those who think they may be shooting too many threes, I guess, what would you say to those people?
I appreciate your concern.
They have nothing.
That's it. Thank you.
Just to kind of follow up on that, there's been a lot of talk on social media about whether too many threes are good or bad for the league. I'm curious, how would you guys assess your three-point volume as a team? And do you think you need to be a high-volume three-point shooting team throughout the year to be successful at the end?
I mean, I think the game tells you how many threes you need to shoot. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you get it done every night. If you win, that's all that matters. And the teams that have won in the past maybe a decade or so have shot a lot of threes, and I think that's why the league's gone the way it is, because teams want to win. So I don't think it has to do with trying to get to a number. It's about winning games. And teams are shooting a lot of threes, and those teams are winning games, so that's where the league's gone.
Hey, two more. Dana.
Shai and Chet, with Alex's body of work, winning a championship and all the different intangibles he brings, what impact has that made on the group so far?
Yeah, it's been great. He, like you said, he's been in the biggest moments. He's been where we all want to go. He's very vocal about it. He's a great vocal leader. He always says the right thing. When he speaks, people listen. And he's earned that because of his work and, like you said, his body of work and what he's put into the game. The game has rewarded him. But yeah, he's been a great asset to this team. And we still feel like we haven't even seen the full form of him, so that's kind of exciting.
Last question, Laura.
Shai, this is just a question about your point of attack defense, not just you, but your team. What I know you don't have to play against them in the game, but I'm sure you go against Lou and Caruso and Casey Wallace, all those guys. Like, what is that like for teams to face your defenders on the perimeter?
It's for sure challenging. I can't remember who it was. We were on the bench the other day. We were playing Atlanta, and Lou started on Trae Young, and he came out the game, and Alex went on Trae Young. And it's very rare that a second unit has an all-defensive perimeter guard on this lineup. So I can only imagine how difficult that must be for other guards. But yeah, we like to use it to our strength and our advantage. Get into guys, knowing that Chet's behind us to clean up and protect. And I think that's why we're a pretty good defense this far.
Shai, I guess to follow up on that, it's just what is that like for you to be the bigger guy who is back line there?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing playing with other great players on both ends of the floor. And sometimes it helps make my job easier too, when they're speeding people up and, people start seeing ghosts out there. Especially when, people are shooting the passing lanes and stealing it and then pursuing and getting steals. It makes it tough on people when people start second guessing and hesitating, and then it kind of just keeps spiraling. So it's definitely like a tag team effort out there. No credit goes to one person. It's 5 guys out there making it happen at all times.
Thank you.
That intentionality tonight to be able to take control of things in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the second half defense was on another level from where we started. But I thought, just a great 48-minute effort out of the team because we did not have our fastball early on both ends. They were the more physical, energetic team, and yet we were able to kind of steady the game in the second quarter. We never really got a grip on it, but we were able to go to halftime with the thing intact, and then wait for the tide to turn a little bit. So I thought obviously the third was big, the start of the fourth was huge. But I thought silently the second quarter, getting ourselves back in that game and getting the thing steady was really, really important tonight.
In that fourth, you've talked for years now about just investing in the entire roster and not being dependent on players. But, you go the first 7.5 minutes, and that group that's on the floor, I think, increases the lead by 10 points. What did you think of that group specifically and how they competed together?
Yeah, I thought that was our best stretch of offense of the night, that group, to start the fourth. We got the ball ahead of them. We put them in closeouts. We made all the right plays, and really were pretty sharp on that end. And so it started in the third. We got that thing moving in the right direction in the second and the third. We just got better as the game went on tonight. But I was really pleased and impressed with the fact that that game could have gotten away from us. That was like a 20-point deficit waiting to happen, and we kind of steadied that thing, and that was big. That's a skill in and of itself when you don't have your fastball.
Mark, you talk all the time about how what happened last year means nothing for this team's identity. I just wonder how you've seen this team's offensive identity kind of be forged, and what tonight maybe meant for that identity going forward.
Well, I thought, the Clippers, credit them, they gave us great resistance. They were really physical. Their schemes were really good. They were very well prepared for us. And they made everything hard and everything earned, and really forced us to play our best in order to string scores together. And we really had to work through that, on a second night of a back-to-back and against a feisty and tough team with a lot of point-of-attack defenders. And like I said, great schemes. So, it really tested us tonight. It forced us, if we wanted to win that game, that's what that required on the offensive end, defensive end, and our guys rose to that. But that was not an easy game.
And with Isaiah specifically, it feels like he has one of these games every so often. I just wonder where he fits into that and how timely you thought he was tonight.
Yeah, he does a great job of, staying consistent in his approach, regardless of his role. He started the second half tonight. He starts last night. He's had game. I think in Chicago he played 12 minutes. Over time, he's had a very fluid role and has remained very consistent. And what's impressive about him is a guy that shoots a lot of tough threes. His confidence remains consistent. So he missed a couple good ones last night. I know he was disappointed in. And his confidence doesn't waver. He just keeps shooting the next best shot. And it's a testament to the work he's put in and like I said, the confidence he's built.
Hey, Mark, in what ways have you seen Jalen Williams build off of last season in terms of his two-way production?
Yeah, I didn't think he had his fastball tonight until he really got a groove there in the fourth, late in the third and in the fourth. But he's really a complete player in terms of skills and tools. And so now it's just a matter of improving the nuances of his game, which I think he's done. He's a guy that grows through his experiences, and he's just slightly better in everything after being good at everything right off the bat. So he just continues to get better and better. He's humble. He continues to learn, continues to work, and he's a super competitor. Like tonight, he just, like I said, him, Holmgren, they didn't have it going early, and then they weathered that, and when they look up there and it's a close game, like the juices get flowing, they really play.
What would be examples of nuances of his game?
Dub?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it, shooting more threes, and playing off of that, which I thought he found a couple catch and shoots tonight. He made a couple big ones. That's a big one offensively. His reads in the pick and roll game have really improved. He's done a great job really in the last half season of last year into this year, finding Chet on the rolls. And then defensively, just his versatility. He's taken a lot of different covers. In the same game, he could be guarding Harden on a switch, Powell on a pin down, or Zubac in the post. And that's a pretty wide range of players, and he can handle all of them, which gives us, great versatility on that end.
I know it's a small sample size, but what are your thoughts on how Mitchell has handled this transition into the pros so far?
I'm sorry.
On Mitchell,
AJ.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's done a great job. You know, he's came out of the draft, had a good summer league. You know, has been professional, has attacked the program, has been inside the team the whole time. Has been very, very consistent, and then came into September and into training camp and really banged the door down. You know, this is a hard team to get minutes on, and you know, he's put us in a position where we have to have him out there. He has really developed very, very quickly with very limited experience. He's steady on both ends of the floor. He's very consistent. He always plays the right way, and he always competes. And guys like that tend to improve. And so, you know, we're investing the minutes in him because he's earned that in a short period of time. He's got to keep, you know, learning and growing. Tonight wasn't his best night, but he's had some really good moments so far.
Shai goes 2 for 4 from 3 tonight. Obviously, we talk endlessly about him trying to change that volume. This felt kind of more like a vintage Shai game, if you can even say that. Just what sense do you get of, you know, the spots he picks, what games and what situations might require that volume and what he wants to do there?
Yeah, I mean, you can ask him, but my sense tonight was they played him tighter, which I think, first of all, it's their guard. You know, their guards are dogs. Those guys are really, really, you know, tough point of attack players, and so they go pressure. A lot of the three-point volume for him and Dub are to manipulate pickup point, and if you're going to try to gap them and just catch their drive all game, they're going to rise up and shoot that. So I think tonight it was a little bit of, you know, taking what the defense gave him, you know, rather than trying to force X amount of threes. Like if they give you 8, take 8. If they only give you 4, you take 4. And I thought that was the byproduct of tonight. But that was just me looking at it.
Anybody else? Go.
All right, thank you.